Hey Internet friends! In part 1 of my What the Media Won't Tell You About the Maui Fires series, we covered the history of the sovereign kingdom of Hawaii and how the former capital city of that kingdom was ravaged by devastating fires on August 8, 2023. While the governor of Hawaii blamed the fires on climate change, and President Biden couldn't even be bothered to provide a comment on the tragedy, Lahaina locals insist there is more to this story than what's being reported by the media. In this video, it's my goal to cover all the underreported and unreported details. Here's what the media won't tell you about the Maui fires, Part 2.
Will you come talk about the Hawaii response, Mr. President?
On August 8th, the historic town of Lahaina on the island of Maui, a popular tourist spot, was destroyed by a fire that seemingly came out of nowhere, accompanied by high-speed winds which spread fire at a rapid rate, making evacuations difficult, if not impossible, leaving some locals to jump into the Pacific Ocean to escape the flames. As of today, August 16th, the death toll sits at 106 individuals. What they're calling wildfires started early in the morning, and many have reported that school was canceled, leaving children at home by themselves while parents went to work. I hope you understand I didn't want to say that in my first video because it's just so horrible. But for the search and rescue over the last week, it's been of high concern, of course, to the parents whose children are still missing. And there's been talk that the real numbers are being suppressed. Like I said in the previous video, even though Hawaii's 400 sirens make up what the state calls the biggest integrated outdoor all-hazard public safety warning system in the world, on the day of the fire, no sirens went off at all, alerting civilians to the danger. And to make matters worse, a state official held back on letting residents use water to protect their property from the fires. The fight over water went on for most of the day, and the water didn't arrive until it was too late. Quote, firefighters describe the wind-driven fires bearing down on Lahaina as being like a blowtorch. 25 to 30 firefighters were staring down at the flames as their hydrants went dry. End quote. So we've got no warning sirens that went off, power lines and internet that were down so people couldn't get warning alerts on their cell phones or televisions. And when the fire claimed Lahaina, people couldn't even turn on the water hose because there was no water. The fire hydrants were dry. Again, this strikes me as very odd, very weird, and obviously horrible. Because fires across Maui all popped up around the same time, just like they did with the Canadian wildfires early this year. And every system they had in place to protect and warn the people, they all failed. Maui Police Chief John Pelletier, who was the incident officer during the 2017 Las Vegas shooting, one of the biggest cover-ups in American history, estimated the number of missing people at approximately 1,000, though he cautioned that, honestly, we don't know.
No comment?
You have to look up what photo. No comment right now, guys.
No comment?
Yeah.
I'm talking to the chief, sir.
Yeah. I understand.
Why doesn't he want to speak to the people? Only to a camera. Why are you shaking your head, sir? You don't want to answer, huh? Okay.
We'll talk to you another time, guys.
Yeah, he won't talk to us another time. That's the thing. It's a very cowardly move. It's shocking.
In response to the devastation, President Biden wrote on Twitter on August 14th, quote, "We're laser focused on getting aid to survivors, including critical needs assistance, a one-time $700 payment per household, offering relief during an unimaginably difficult time," end quote. Laser focused, huh? Reported in Newsweek, quote, "Political opponents and commentators describe the sum as insulting and compared it with the more than $113 billion worth of aid the U.S. has sent to Ukraine as it defends itself against an ongoing Russian invasion. On Monday, the government announced it was sending $200 million in defensive capabilities," end quote. They've sent hundreds of billions of dollars in aid throughout the year to Ukraine, but to our own citizens? $700 per household after they've lost everything?
This is footage earlier at Napili Park. I didn't feel safe speaking freely about the situation while I was there, but the police are issuing permission slips for residents to freely come and go to their homes to other parts of the island. Going to walk along the line so you can see there are thousands of people here at this park. There were two separate locations where they told people to come get these permission slips which would allow them to leave their houses, travel to other parts of the island that were unaffected, and return. Now, one very important thing to note with all of this is many of these people, including us, live approximately 20 minutes away from the fire, and we are very, very far away from any structure or any any building, car, anything like that that was directly affected by the fire. We watched the fire from very far away. I've interviewed people who cannot get their medication, and they're being given a choice of leave your house without being able to potentially come back and be homeless downtown, live in your car, whatever, and then you can get your medication, then you can get the food you want to eat, then you can get the water you want to drink, or stay here and eat the food that we designate.
There's one road in and one road out of Lahaina, and our own government is blocking aid to the victims of this fire. So those good Samaritans who want to help are having to travel by water to distribute aid.
People doing everything that they can. I'm KITV4's Jeremy Lee. Coming up, the effort here in Kihei, improvised, in which people have just shown up to make sure that goods are ferried over from Kihei over to Lahaina.
We wondered out loud in part 1 of this video if this would be a land grab. You know, never let a good crisis go to waste. And unfortunately, vultures are circling Lahaina, with the majority of the damaged structures being residential. Developers and investors are already contacting victims of the fire to make an offer on their land. We speculated that insurance companies wouldn't be able to insure the homes and businesses because of rapid inflation, and the average cost of a home in Maui being $1.2 million. The estimated devastation is $3.2 billion in insurance coverage. Many residents didn't have homeowners insurance because the homes were older, and according to some locals, a lot of the land ownership wasn't documented because it's native sacred land. So one can assume the insurance payouts, if they ever do happen, will be a total mess. Hawaiian Electric is a 100-year-old utility company that serves 95% of Hawaii, and the company is now being sued by a group of people because it's believed that its down power lines caused the deadly Lahaina fire. On August 15th, shares of Hawaiian Electric stock fell 31% because investors are worried about the company's possible liabilities after the wildfires in Maui. It's looking like they'll take the brunt of the blame for all of this. And like we said in the last video, will Hawaiian Electric be replaced to facilitate a clean energy system for a new smart city, like the World Economic Forum predicted back in 2018? Only time will tell. All of the other stories about how fires started, land mismanagement and government oversight, rumors of explosions, rumors of directed energy weapons have all been quote unquote, debunked by fact checkers on social media websites before anything has ever been investigated to control whatever narrative they've got going on here. I even got censored last night on Instagram for talking about these theories and facts, even though I didn't endorse them directly. Apparently, you can't even read from government websites and say the military's AFRL's Directed Energy Directorate, which specializes in DEWs, as it says directly on their website, very plainly right up front here, is stationed right on Maui. Apparently, you can't say that the Maui site is called the Air Force Maui Optical Supercomputing Site. It's just not allowed. You also apparently can't say that in the aftermath of a wildfire when all the news has died down. The majority of insurance investigations say that humans are to blame for these wildfires, not lightning or climate change, but arson or accident. And that's what the media won't tell you about the Maui fires. What do you think, internet friends? I always look forward to reading your comments. Thank you so much for watching, for subscribing, for supporting my channel on Patreon, and for buying my book, The Deep State Encyclopedia. Bye.